Let's talk about native versus hybrid e-commerce apps and choosing the right option for your business. Native development means building apps written in the native code of mobile operating systems such as iOS and Android. Generally, iOS apps, iPhone apps are written in Swift or Objective-C code and can only run on the Apple operating systems. Android apps are usually written in Kotlin and or Java and can only run on Android phones. This means you need to develop separate apps for each mobile operating system, as an iPhone app won't work on an Android phone and an Android app won't work on an iPhone. And most importantly, these apps are completely separate from your website, which is likely written in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, coding languages that require the browser to work. So what are hybrid apps? Hybrid apps are apps that combine a web code such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and mobile code. Hybrid development takes elements of both the web and mobile to allow you to share part of your website code with your mobile app. And people can still download the app and open it on their phone, but some of the functionality and design works the same as it does on your website. Hybrid means you don't need to build your entire app from scratch. Instead, you can reuse the parts of your website that work well on mobile already to significantly decrease development time, as well as the workload required to maintain your app and your website. Let's start with the pros and cons of building native e-commerce apps. Some of the pros are native apps generally perform better and are faster and smoother to use. The user experience is better due to code being written specifically for the user's device. There's no limits as to what the app can do, such as full access to device features and native APIs. And native apps generally have a higher level of security. Now, some of the cons are the cost of native development is significantly higher, and you can expect to pay around $50,000 at a minimum, multiplied by 2 because you need an iOS and Android app. Native apps also come with a high cost of maintenance as well, and development can take months to complete. You also need to be juggling multiple code bases, and it takes extra work and extra development time to make sure your web and mobile platforms are connected. And you probably don't have anyone with native development experience on your team, so you're going to be introducing the risk and expense that comes with hiring new staff or dealing with outside development agencies. Now let's dive into the advantages and disadvantages of hybrid app development for e-commerce stores. Some of the pros are its significantly lower cost to build and launch your app. There's also a much shorter development time frame, it's cheaper and easier to maintain with less unique code to manage, and the user experience and branding is easy to keep consistent across all your platforms. Also, since it's quicker and more affordable to launch, you can gather feedback from users faster and accelerate the process of iterating and improving on the first version of your app. Now let's talk about some of the cons. Hybrid apps performance can suffer compared to native apps, and user experience may not be 100% optimal on each platform. You may not be able to use all device features, though hybrid apps generally use some hardware features such as camera, microphone, and GPS, and hybrid technology is constantly improving. So there we go, we just ran through a summary of the pros and cons of native app development for e-commerce as well as hybrid development. So which is the best way to build an app for your e-commerce store? The answer might be different from brand to brand since each business is unique and certain pros or cons might hold different weight from your business compared to another. So it's important to consider how important each area is for you. Is cost and time a priority? Do you need extensive use of native device features? Do you already have mobile developers on your staff? These are all questions that you need to ask yourself. Though choosing your tech stack is certainly a complex decision, the most significant pros and cons of native versus hybrid app development center around the lower cost of hybrid versus the higher level of performance from native apps. Now let's talk about how you can build a hybrid app with Mobiloud. Mobiloud lets you launch amazing e-commerce apps for a manageable cost without the stress of hiring new staff or managing developers. Now, Mobiloud is a full-service platform that does all the heavy lifting to turn your e-commerce stores into a mobile app. All this happens with zero work on your part. We build your apps, test them, submit them to the app stores for publishing, and handle technical maintenance and updates after launch for a fraction of the cost of paying developers to do it for you. Now, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you got some value out of it. As always, my name is Jamarco, and I'll see you in the next video.